wrong way around. Nope, they look the wrong way around to me. Thanks, YouTube. So it's not a phone thing, it's a YouTube thing. Don't know how to fix it at the moment. Right, give me a second. We'll just get the old live stream fired up at this end and we'll see who's in the workshop. Boom, 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 boom. You can do it. Come on, YouTube. Yes, there we go. Right, said Fred. So yeah, I haven't run a live stream on this phone for a long time, if ever, to be honest. So I don't know. Plus, I've also noticed that the picture is a little bit stretched upwards as well. Honestly, what's going on? Right, we have Roger Heaps in the workshop. Good morning, Roger. Welcome back, sir. Roger says, good morning, Andy and crew. It is, and it's just stopped raining. We've had tons of rain this last week. We're out concreting, more on this shortly, concreting in basically a heavy rainstorm all Friday afternoon. 5 hours, soaking wet. Luckily, most of the concreting was undercover, so the concrete didn't suffer, but we did. That's me and Mrs. Mechanic, by the way. Right, Simon Rawle, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Simon. Welcome back, sir. Simon says, are you on that free workshop power yet? Hang on a second. Those that don't know, I know Roger knows, but there'll be a few others that don't. So there we were, and you've seen the post, right? There we were, digging away. And luckily we didn't use Trevor the tractor for any of this kind of stuff because we'd have just caused carnage. And there was a little clink. And Mrs. Mechanic was digging away, you know, because she's good at digging holes. And anyway, I won't say anymore. So she's down there and she's, you know, and she's, oh, there's a silver thing. What's that? I don't know. And she spotted this tape a bit earlier on, and it said on it, what's it say? Caution, right? Electrical cable below, and it says it's up here very clearly, signal strip, right? So I'm interpreting that as, what's the signal wire doing in our garden? What's it signaling? What's going on there? Anyway, we got down to the wire, and it appeared to be basically, you know, encased, and it was pretty flat, and it's quite small. It's not carrying a lot of current, right? Which is even more weird. And it was only about a foot deep, which is bad, right? That's way below spec. I think Roger was saying 60 centimeters is the minimum depth for wire for underground cables here in New Zealand, power cables. And I looked at, oh man, but luckily it was just to the side of where we were concrete at the edge of the hole. So now I took the photos, did the post, got a bit of feedback. We don't think it's a signal wire as such. I think that's just the name of the tape back then. This is a really old bit of tape. So messaged the electric company and they went, oh, you've got an exposed wire, panic, you know, don't do anything, run away, don't touch it, all this kind of stuff. Didn't give them my address, right, because I was trying to be cunning with this. And I thought, well, let's not worry about it too much because, you know, once the concrete's in, it's not exposed anymore, is it? So that's what we did. It's now concreted in. So if they want to get to it, they'll have to go through the concrete, basically. So no, Simon, we haven't tapped into it. It definitely wouldn't carry the kind of current we'd need for this workshop. This is not the MIG. But it just does, I don't know what it does. There's some weird stuff in our garden. We found a little black wire that you saw when we were doing the retaining wall. Don't know what that is. That wasn't deep at all. That was a couple of inches deep, but it was in conduit. This other wire, I don't know. I've never seen a wire like it. You know, it's the aluminium outside is even shaped to the wiring. So I'm going to try and do a bit more investigation and work out what it's for. But I mean, all that's at the back of the house in sort of the direction it's going are fields. What's it doing? Signaling the cows? I don't know. We'll find out. Hey, JJ, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, JJ. Welcome back, matey. Good to have you on board. So I have been with Mrs. Mechanic ever since taking my annual leave, and I think I was quite is glee the right word? Smug. There you go. I was quite smug on the last live stream that I had a month off. And obviously that time's draining away. Here we are, 2 weeks later, still on holiday, right? But it's not been a holiday, right? It's not been sat on the beach sipping sangrias or drinking cider or whatever it is, with dipping your toes in the clear ocean. Well, people do that kind of stuff. It's not a holiday to me. A holiday to me is, well, an adventure, actually. An ideal holiday for me is an adventure, going off somewhere and exploring a new place, preferably on a motorcycle in the middle of nowhere, going over mountains, down all the little back tracks and stuff, finding your way through, navigating rivers, not too deep, but that kind of stuff. Really enjoy that. Can't afford it at the moment because we're building a deck. So this holiday is all about building the house deck. Now, I've been promising Mrs. Mechanic for the last 4 years, since we put the roof up, that we get the deck finished. And what took priority was the workshop roof, and then we had Ben's shed to build and extend the roof for that. And then I said, look, let's do the side port, right? Let's do the side port, and then we've got a nice working area for all the timber cutting, all the measuring, all that kind of stuff. And we're not, running out of space, because you need a fair bit of space when you're doing that kind of stuff. And I'm not kidding, right? The side port is absolutely brilliant for this kind of stuff. Now, it's long. There's about 8-9 meters available space in depth. Width, we've got the big workbench table. You'll see it on the videos. Mrs. Mechanic's been doing some filming. In the middle, you can easily manhandle a 6-meter length of timber under there. And it's got a nice high roof, so you can, even if the timber's like 4, maybe 3.5 meters, you can flip it over if you need to, that kind of stuff. So, and it's well lit. That light Ben got, that LED light, is fantastic. Really good. Just need a couple more, really, for further down. But, for the workbench area, it's brilliant. It really is. So thank you, Ben. Good find. So we started doing the deck a week last Wednesday. So what's that put us into? Is it day 9 now? The start of day 9? So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday we had off because we went to the lake hop. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday was a half day. So we've done like 8.5 days. And I also lost a couple of hours because I can show you actually, because my planer, my plug in the mains planer died, my Bosch planer. Let me go and get it. I'll show you what I did, because there's more of it in the video, but it really annoyed me. Oh, a screwdriver down. Don't know where that's gone. Now, this old Bosch planer, I thought I brought it from England, but turns out I didn't, because you know what? It's got a New Zealand plug on it. So I'll have bought this when we were renovating this house, which was quite a long time ago now. Now, which side is that side there? Okay, so it's done brilliantly. It's never had a new blade put in it. It's never had a new belt on it, and it's been pretty much abused. And it's done the job. It's done really well. But I was using it the other day because we were doing some pretty acute angle stuff and couldn't bother to saw it, so I just chomped it off with a planer. Terrible woodwork of me. I'm always doing sort of metalwork design with woodwork, which is terrible. And it just felt it was vibrating really badly, and it just was cutting really badly. And I thought, we need to have a look at this. So you've got 2 covers. This one here has the belt. Easy, right? The belt is slightly damaged, but it's working okay at the moment. And on this side here, you've got access to the brushes. And I'm not going to take it apart because it took a while to get it all set up. But you can see here, we've got the rotating drum, right? That's got the blade on it. And in here is a needle roller bearing. And this green plasticky bit, there, look, this bit, should be part of this molding. It's all one piece. However, what happened? And if you look down there, you can see there's now gaps. It's almost it's a separate part now, right? So what happened is the blade, if I can bring it round to show you the blade. Yeah, there we are, look. The blade broke near the end. About the last 10 mil of the blade broke off. Not ideal, but it still works, which is the important thing. But the problem was the blade, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, is sticking out slightly from the end of this roller, right, this drum. And what that did is it chomped its way through the plastic, making this support bush or this support bearing now no longer positioned. It was just floating around. So the whole drum was flapping from side to side. So not good. So I thought, how the hell am I going to fix this? I thought, aha, I know what we'll do. So I made a support plate, a bit of aluminum for those that are in America. And luckily there was a threaded bolt hole here, so I used that. And then on this side, there's a little perch for the cover. So I made it fit over the perch. I can take the rubber bit off there, look, you see, so it fits over the perch nicely, pushes down, and it sort of won't go any further on the perch because there's some little plastic supports molded into it, and I filed it just enough so it sat in the right place. This little rubber bit is a bit of fuel pipe, and that just sits on there, and then when the cover goes on, it just applies a little bit of tension to it. And then I didn't have an 18mm hole saw, right? Well, in fact, I only had an 18mm hole saw, and this is about 17.5mm. So I had to use the hole saw, but then I had to come up with a plan to clamp that bearing carrier, you can call it, in position because it was still a little bit loose, and of course it would continue to spin and it wouldn't support the drum. So then I found, Simon, the chocolate blocks, the electrical connectors that have little screws in them and stuff. So I took the center of one of those out, drilled 2 holes, shortened the screws. That mounted this onto the aluminium, and then put a bolt through to adjust the tension on that bearing carrier. And you know what? It took me about 2 hours to work it out. It works brilliantly. So rather than throw the plane in the bin, it now has another life, which is what it's all about, isn't it? To be perfectly honest, I have spent every last cent that I have on timber and screws, and just stuff for the deck, right? And there really isn't anything left for buying new power tools at the moment. So if I hadn't have fixed this, we just wouldn't have had a planer. Not the end of the world, but it does make life a lot easier for certain joints, just to get them right, because I don't always get them right. Wood's a funny thing to work with. Steel I can be super accurate with. Not super accurate, not NASA level, right? But I can do pretty well with steel. Wood, just a bit weird, to be honest. I enjoy working with wood, don't get me wrong, but it's a very different type of material, and it varies a lot in consistency. It's not like steel where it's just all uniform. But yes, fix the planer. So I lost a couple of hours for that. So let's say we're about maybe 8 1/3 days into building the deck, and I've got some photos for you, a few more than what was on the thumbnail. Right, I'm going to just, how am I going to do this? Push that back a bit. There we go. Right, we'll turn you on. 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, right. So hopefully you can see all this. There you go. Now, these timbers are just cut-offs from some of the joists that we're using to walk on at the moment. That's not the deck. It's a bit over thick for covering the deck, to be honest. Now, let's have a look. So all of these joists, these are all 50mm by 200mm. So in America, you call that a 2x8, I think, approximately. I put a little step on for Mrs. Mechanic because it is a bit steep. That's, again, it's only temporary. We've said all the joists are in. Most of the joists have got brackets, steel brackets on as well to beef up the joints. There's two that are missing, but I think I've got some more brackets somewhere that I can find. Now that I've got all the bikes out today, I'll have a good rummage around before I put the bikes away. We've put some more posts in, some more support posts to hold the roof up because, to be fair, it's a very heavy roof, and there was only 8 of these 100 by 100 posts holding it up, and it was a little bit swayy, especially when you were walking around on it. So I wanted to put some more posts up. We put 2 big ones, or 2 more at the end. There's a new one there, and a new one there. So we've put another 4 in there. At the moment, there might be more. Who knows? So there you go. We've been doing recently. We did the big square first, because I had to square the whole thing up because these 3 posts here. This is the furthest to the left as you're looking out of the house. The middle one, and there's one over here. They're not parallel to the house. They should be. They should have been, and they were. I don't know what maybe put them where I did at the time. There would have been a reason for it, but I really wish I hadn't done. There's about a 70 centimeter difference between the distance from this furthest post back to the house compared to the one on the left as we look at it back to the house. So I had to square the whole thing up, and that's why we've got this weird shape going on here. Mrs. Mechanic calls it the airplane wing. But by the time we get out to here, forgive the cardboard, it's keeping the rain off the concrete. By the time we get out to here, this outer joist here is parallel to that one at the back. So the deck will end up, once the cover's on, looking, as it should do. The reason why it's all angled at the sides, at each end of the deck, is we need to have vehicular access down the side of the property here. And of course, we've got vehicular access under the carport in front of the workshop. So, but it's a big deck, right? There's a lot of space under there, which is great. Putting all the noggins in, that took a bit of time, but we've done all the wing, the outer bit, and all this lot here. We're on to the easy stuff now. That shouldn't take too long to do. We're doing about 6, maybe 7 bays in a day, all going to plan, just to strengthen the whole thing up. In this area here, there's a few more posts to go in. There'll be a hot tub, or a jacuzzi, we call it in England, in this area here. That's the plan eventually, when I can afford one of those. Be a while yet. Yes, there you see, it's the hot tub will go here. So there's another, wherever you see the little bits of red paint will be a post. So we're doing a bit of woodwork and then digging a hole, and then a bit more woodwork and digging a hole. And that way it sort of spreads out the manual labor aspect. I enjoy doing the wood. I hate digging holes. There you go, another view there for you. And that's it. Perfect. Right. Turning around, 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, so Mrs. Mechanic is doing some filming of building the deck because, she's very happy about building the deck. And she wants to share that with you. And there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and it's stuff goes wrong, as it always does. Andy measures things wrong. The rain causes problems. You'll find out when you watch it. I don't know when the video is going to go out. We're a little bit behind at the moment on our, sort of workshop diaries type stuff. But Mrs. Mechanic is catching up. She's got a lot of stuff in the can, so it's all, I think it's pretty cool stuff that she films. I think it's great, actually, because it's stuff that I would never film myself, and it would just pass us all by. Right, let's get back onto the YouTube thing. There we go. Roger Heaps, if you or I put a low current, like a 10 amp cable, in its minimum 20 centimeters, so it could be that. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it goes. Don't know what it is. It's way too close to the surface. Yeah, it is what it is. I've forgotten all about it already, to be honest. Simon, it be smug. Only work 39.2 weeks a year. Yeah. Mr. Nuttall, radio station ship, last owner. What? Radio station ship, last owner. John, I have no idea what you're talking about. Could you elaborate for me, please, sir? Simon, was a place today I think will have been one of your old haunts. Ruffeth Auto Jumble. Yes. Ruffeth. There was an old airfield there, wasn't there, in Ruffeth? Is that right? I do remember the Ruffeth Auto Jumbles, though. Yes. That's a good fix, Andy. Thanks, Simon. Banana Brooks. Wood. All too easy to take too much material off. It is. You only get one chance, and if it's a long beam, right, and it's expensive, I tend to cut them a little bit, bit cautious, cut it a little bit too long, make sure my angle's right, get this, the saw all set up, and then me and Mrs. Mechanic will carry this bloody great beam, put it in position, and go, oh, needs another 2 mil taking off. God damn it! Carry it all back again, cut it again, take it back. Yeah, that'll do. Or, ooh, maybe another mil, and then go back. A lot of to-ing and fro-ing. Don't believe your tape measures. Man, honestly, tape measures do my head in. They're just not accurate enough. I've resorted, doing all those noggins, I've resorted in using my steel ruler. I've got a meter-long steel ruler and a 600mm steel ruler. I use them all for steel. And that's increased my accuracy no end when it comes to, accurate cuts. Things that you sort of pick up. You want to do a really good job. You're only going to make one. I know all of that stuff, right? All of those beams and noggins and things, they're all going to be hidden by the top of the deck. But it wants to be right. It's peace of mind. It's got to last. I'm not doing it again. This is the one time I build the big deck. I'm pleased that we built the little deck for the potting shed. That was a really good learning curve, just to sort of fine-tune procedures and for me to sort of plan the best way of doing this. And some people, right, builders maybe, before they put any framing work down, they would just set all the posts, right, in concrete out of the ground. Bub, 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 bub. There's all your posts, job's a carrot, let the concrete set, build your frame, and then cut all the posts off to the right height. I cannot get posts accurately placed in the ground and concreted in realistically. I don't know what it is. I'm always a few millimeters to a few centimeters out on the posts. Then you've got to hold all the posts in position, all your little angly brackets, and you put little stakes in the ground, and it's a bit of a palaver. So we thought on this case, because we've already got the posts, 8 posts already holding the roof up, let's build the frame off those, and then we can dig the holes wherever we choose them to be, drop the post in, concrete it in, job done. And it's in exactly the right place, and it's exactly vertical, and it's done, isn't it? It's the only downside to that I can see is when you're digging the hole, sometimes you've got to dig either side of a bit of wood, a beam. But it's not bad, actually. The ground's pretty easy to dig. It gets quite sandy further down. It's not clay. It doesn't drain very well, though, for some reason. Anyway, where do we get to? Banana Brooks, that's more of a veranda. That's an old word. A veranda than a porch. Well, probably, yeah. They call them decks here in New Zealand, but you're right. It's a nice big area that we can enjoy during the summer and during the winter without having a roof. It's a bit dark under there, so one thing we are going to do is once it's finished and we've done all the guttering and stuff, and we're sort of doing the fine tuning, is we're going to take out probably 3, maybe 4 of the steel roofing sheets, and we're going to replace them with some clear plastic ones to let some more natural light in. That will transform that space under there, and it'll make it a lot brighter and a lot more workable. Not too bright, but it'll make it a lot better. But I don't know when that's going to happen. That's more of a luxury thing than anything else. So it's not urgent. And then we can use that steel roofing. I've got another shed planned for down the garden, so we can reuse it for that. That's not a problem. I don't like to waste stuff. Where do we get to? Richard Perry. Hi, Andy and crew. Good morning, Richard. Welcome back to the Andy Mechanic Workshop, sir. Roger Heaps. Fletch is happy to video on working. Oh, perfect. Working valve grinder, and he's bringing a valve too to play with. Brilliant. Thank you, Roger. I'm going to look at my schedule and make sure I'm in the right place at the right time, and I'll let you know the dates and stuff. John Nuttall. Don't want to jinx it, but that's a lot of wood. Best fit a fire extinguisher every 9 feet. God. It always worries me when there's quite a few pubs around New Zealand that have, wooden decks out the front or out the back with the tables and stuff, and it's a smoking area. And it always worries me that the ash can drop down between the gaps of the timber, and it's bound to be tinder dry under there, and they're going to have a fire, aren't they? So I'm always very cautious about, cigarette ash and that kind of stuff. So, bit of a worry. One thing I intend to do before we put the deck top on is chuck a load of gravel under there. It'll cover all the dirt. It'll just prevent anything like that happening. We were going to sheet it to prevent weeds as well, that black plastic sheeting stuff, and then chuck some gravel on. I don't know how far we're going to go at this point in time. Obviously, we only get one chance to do it, and now's the time to do it if we're going to do it. We'll have to wait and see how the schedule goes, because I really want to get the deck finished, as in usable, this holiday. And I hate to go about it. Don't get paid till the 14th. If I can hold off putting the deck top on, which is probably going to be okay, until after the 14th, we can do that, because I can get the gravel and things. Now then, when we get to boom, boom, boom. Yes, so very cautious about the fire problem. Simon, I have when working upstairs, having to run up and down cutting wood. It's a pain in the ass. I do now have the rechargeable little circular saw. Ben's got one as well. Mine's a Makita. His is one of those Zito ones. His is more powerful, actually. Same size, but it's got more grunt than the Makita one has. Super useful, actually. I've been up on roofs, could making the cuts up there rather than messing around up and down all the time. Saves a lot of time and a lot of pissing around, in all honesty. So it was well worth getting, even though it's a bit underpowered. It's still a very useful tool. John Nuttall, the cables might have been amateur radio station wires. Previous owner ship. My way of saying shit. Right. Okay. I will try and find out what it is. I mean, I'm just interested to know what's running under the house, And it's not on the plans. We got from the council, we got a plan of the plot showing all the services and where all the cables are. It's not on there. So what is it? And neither was that black wire either. Simon, next video, Andy builds fire suppression system with low melt solder tabs to trigger. I sincerely hope it doesn't catch fire, that's for sure. Oh, my word. John Nuttall, solar panels to light that space might work alongside the clear sheeting. Yeah, that's a good idea, because Mrs. Mechanic, Ben's into his solar panels. He's done a bit of work on that stuff. He's got some solar panels and a charging system in his workshop. She wants to put some kind of soft lighting down there, for on an evening. Not this kind of stuff. This is way too bright for out there. And all the free stuff that we get that Ben picks up, because he's got a mate that's an electrician. All the bright commercial lighting. But no, she wants some kind of soft lighting under there just to, I don't know, set the mood, I suppose. And we'll have the barbecue under there, and we'll have a table. We've got a table lined up to go under there and bits and pieces. So it's going to be a really nice space. Ben's got 1,000,001 bug destroyer things as well, so we're going to put all those up to kill all the bugs. It's not too bad at the moment, but sometimes it can get a real pain in the bugs. Simon, Have you put an amp clamp on to see it pulling current? I haven't. I haven't at all. I didn't want to go anywhere near it, to be honest. You know, when I saw that tape, I was like, shit. Mrs. Mechanic's there, you know, just tapping around it. I'm like, just back off, leave it alone. It doesn't matter, there's still a bit of solid in the hole. It'll be fine. It's a good idea, but it's gone now, Simon. Simon, that won't work as it will have more than one wire. It does. There's at least 2 wires in there. Pretty confident it's going to be AC, right? It's not going to be DC. So each wire will cancel each other out, won't they, on an amp clamp? So not going to happen. It's all right. It's buried now. We can forget all about it. Oh, cigarette's gone out. Bear with me. Jeez. And then we'll put the pie in. I have got a pie, by the way. The pie. This is how terrible my memory is, right? I was at Wild Bean Cafe and I was looking around in the cabinet going, well, I need a pie. This is on Friday. We had to go into Taupo. And so we had that was Friday morning, and it was absolutely silent it down. So we couldn't work outside anyway. So it was a good time to go. And where was I going with this? I have completely forgotten. Had to go into Taupo. Yes, pie, right? So at BP, Wild Bean Cafe, at the counter, looking in the pie cabinet. I'm hungry. What shall I get? So I got a gourmet steak and cheese there and then. That was my morning pie. And I bought another one. I thought, right, okay, what am I going to choose for Sunday? I thought, there's a lamb Sunday dinner. Not done that yet. Let's get that. And I got home again, lamb. I've definitely done a lamb pie recently. So I looked through the live streams. Sure enough, in August, we did the lamb Sunday roast pie from Wild Bean Cafe. So I've got another one. It did very well, so I'm not upset. It's just there's no point in scoring it other than we can say, well, is it consistent, you know? So we'll go and stick it in the pie warmer shortly. So that's what we've done so far. Next week, in fact, today, this afternoon, as soon as the live stream finishes, we've got to crack on because the days are bleeding away. We're not busting a gut doing this. I am on holiday, so we've been having reasonably late starts. Usually kick off about 10:30. We're outside for about 9:30. Get the workshop. Luckily, I don't have to get all the bikes out. The bikes can stay in. We've set it up so we can just get the tools we need and go outside and work. But then we have a coffee and a cigarette, and I've been watching a lot of the Guy Martin Speed series recently, which has been really cool. So we've just chosen one of those. They're about an hour or so long, and then we just watch a bit during a break, and then watch the next bit during the next break. It's been really good. Actually, been looking forward to that. And we usually get finished. We work till about 6:30, sometimes 7 o'clock in the evening. So we're still sort of doing a full day's work. And we get inside, have a shower, and tea's about 8 o'clock, and then we get a couple of hours TV. And by that point, we're usually pretty knackered, to be honest. But I think, all in all, we've made some pretty good progress. But we can't fall behind. We need to crack on. I need to move the big trailer. The big trailer's under the carport. It's got all the timber on it. Again, it's all worked out brilliant. The timber's nice and dry. We've got the side port to work in. It's a great working space for doing what we're doing. A lot better than when we're building the other roofs because we're out in the rain doing it, But I want to get the big trailer moved. I do have to go up to Auckland at some point during this holiday period, is the plan, to go and pick up the lathe that I bought and a bandsaw that I bought. I'm still on standby, waiting to hear when I can go and pick it up. The problem is the only access door leads onto, basically a carport area, right? A covered area, concrete floor. And the school kids, the woodworking school kids, are doing wood carvings under there. Great big long posts, right? And they've not finished it yet, and they can't move them. So only when they've finished them they'll then move those posts out of the way, and we can get the little trailer in with the winch, and we can rig up how we're going to get the lathe on the trailer. If it doesn't happen during the holiday, it's not the end of the world because it'll give me another day in the workshop. I'm working from home the following week and a half because I go back to work on the Wednesday, I think it is. So So I may have to go up to Auckland during that week and a half. And if I do, then I'll take the little trailer and go and pick it up then. That would be the sensible thing to do. And I'm not in a rush to get it because I've got nowhere to put it, to be honest. That bench is going to have to come out. That's the only place it could fit. And I mean, I don't really use that bench much. It's just storage for all the steel. So I've just got to find somewhere else for all that to go. But we'll work it out. Who else have we got? Vijayant Governor. Good morning, Vijayant. Good evening, Andy and crew. How are you doing? I'm doing all right, actually. Tired as always, but happy. Very happy. And I've only looked at my work phone once, and that was to give Jim a call. So trying to just distance myself from my day job for this month, not getting involved. I'm on holiday, and I deserve the holiday. I've worked hard this year. And to be fair, it's been a pretty crappy year for me. Don't get the fiddles out. We all have shit years, but it's not been a good year with personal stuff, you know. Simon, if you're looking for something to watch on a night, Chernobyl 1986 Netflix tells a story of the guys who went in just after. I've seen it. If it's the one we're talking about, I've seen it, and it's brilliant. It really is an awesome thing to watch. It's very insightful. It tells you the story. It's a very well put together documentary. I know I've told you guys this before, and I'll quickly skim through it again. Probably about 10, 11 years after that Chernobyl event, we had a lot of school kids from Chernobyl come to England for a holiday. They all had terminal cancer. They weren't going to survive, and it was like a trip that was funded through charity. And they came to our off-road sites, and they wanted to be driven around the forest and around an off-road route. And they brought, obviously, there were teachers there and stuff. These kids were, I don't know, anything from 9, 10 years old up to maybe 15, 16. And, you know, obviously we obliged. We put some four-wheel drives on. We put some staff in there to drive. We let the kids use the radios between the Jeeps. And we took them out for a couple of hours around the forest. And they really, really enjoyed it. And when we got back, one of the teachers came to the cabin to pay the bill. And we'd all been really blown away by, you know, the situation that these kids were in. And, you know, I said to the teacher, I said, no, I says, you keep that money and you can now go and do something else with the children. You know, it was pretty sad. Okay, pie time before I crack up. So, consistency. This is, again, a Wild Bean Cafe lamb Sunday roast pie. Bought it in error, really. I thought I hadn't done this one, but I have. So there you go. Incredibly structurally integral. No problems at all. This is almost excellent as regards build quality. So see what it's like in the pie warmer. Right, turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, there we go. So for those that have just joined us, this live stream is coming to you from my newer S23 phone. If you remember, I promised you I would try and do a live stream from that. I don't think I've ever done a live stream from this phone before, from memory. And as you've already seen on the camera, everything is still... obviously, things are not in reverse now, right? There's your signs, the Datsun sign, Teng Tools. If I turn you around now, this is the selfie camera. As you can see, it's now backwards. So, you know, I don't know what to do. It doesn't appear to be a phone problem. It maybe is more of a YouTube problem. So I'm going to have to maybe investigate that a bit more. It's not ideal. It annoys the crap out of me. I know it annoys the crap out of you guys as well. It's weird. It really is. And I don't want to be using the main camera for live streams because I don't really, you know, I quite like the fact that the comments pop up on the side and it gives me a heads up that there's a fresh comment. I mean, it's not like Eric O's live streams where there's hundreds of comments firing through every few minutes. Your comments are reasonably steady, so I can sort of usually address all of them, which I want to, you know, that's what it's all about. Where do we get to? Thank you, Simon. Yes, it is a good documentary. And if you haven't seen it and you've got Netflix, do check it out because it's very, very interesting. And some of the stuff that the rescue workers and the emergency service people did immediately after the explosion was just, it's mind blowing. It really is. You got to check it out. The Giants. When is the final video for the engine stand coming out? Well, let's go for a walk. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, the Giants. All right. So here is engine stand. Okay. I have done, and I do apologize, I have done nothing more to the engine stand since the last video went out. What have we still got to do? Well, little stuff, really. I've got all the box section to plug up and tidy up. It obviously needs a paint. I've got a nice top piece to make to go in here. So there'll be some brackets on the inside and a plate that bolts down on the top with a handle, because obviously when you're pushing it around, you need a handle to apply the force, because it's going to be quite heavy. So it wants to be a decent handle. But I need to keep access to these bolts behind here for the hub. So it can't be welded on, that one. It has to just be bolted into place. And I'll try and do a nice tidy one with some cap head bolts and stuff so it looks smart for Ben. The timber's all done. You saw that in the video. It just needs sanding and some kind of, I think we're going to try and we're not going to varnish it, I don't think, but some kind of coating on it just to seal the wood up. So if any oil does leak down, which is bound to do, it doesn't instantly stain the timber. But that's incidental, to be honest. And then there's the big bit, which we're going to use Sheldon for. I'm going to crack I've got an end mill, and we're going to have a go at using Sheldon to do some milling work. And I've got to make... Oh, catching the winch. So this is from this plate here, as you know, this spins round, and it locks in into 4 different positions using that bolt hole and the bracket. I've got to make some adjustable legs to come off the bottom of here and off the top, potentially. I might just drill 2 holes at the top in line with the plate. I've got the plate somewhere, hang on. Yes, there we are, look. So this is, I don't know if you've seen this on the video or not, but this is the plate that goes through the engine and the gearbox. So it gives me all the bolt holes. So those 2 top ones there, look, not the one in the middle. Those 2 top ones, and then there's a couple. That one there is a big one, and that one there. I've done some basic measuring just to get an idea of how it's going to work, but that gives me it. So I think there'll be a couple of legs, one off here, one off there, and I think those 2 top holes, for this particular project, I will just drill 2 holes through here and have some standoffs the same length as the depth of the 2 legs, and that will be fine. There's going to be a tremendous amount of stress on that plate, hence why it's 24.5 mil thick or something like that. It's a ridiculous lump of steel, it really is. Oh, and Mrs. Mechanic's going to sandblast this with the hub, and then we can paint that. So it all looks nice, because it's a gift to Ben, and it's something that he can keep forever, really. As a secondary sort of mini side project to this, I'm going to make a little workbench top that will mount to this. It should be super useful, because it could, if I make it, obviously it'd be out of steel, it could use it as a welding bench, for example. So it could actually have the bench tilt at an angle for welding as well, and it'll just bolt to this. Probably use the same bolt holes that I've already drilled in it. So you can use it as a little bench when it's not been used as an engine stand. So it's going to be dual purpose, is the plan. But yeah, at the moment it's just sat there because Andy is, we're really busy doing that deck, and we're against the clock. We've got to get it finished. What else have we got over here? Just mess, basically. My workshop, we're on in the thick of this big project. Oh, there's my screwdriver. Wonder where that was. Right, put that back. That was when I was fixing the planer. Sticking in there, look. Right. Oh, By the way, Miss October. We've missed Miss September, but not to worry. There is Miss October. Very nice. Well presented. Good job. Thank you, Jared. So yeah, sorry, Vijayan, but it's going to be a little bit of time before I get this all finished. I've got the 2 pins to do the final length cut and to drill to put the R clips through as well. But you know, it won't take over long. The biggest bit now is going to be making those little legs on the milling machine, and they'll be made out of the same stuff. We're going to use some more of this because we've got plenty of that. You know, that's the plan. Okay, enough flapping around the workshop. There really isn't. Oh, don't look at the go-kart. All right, it'll get done one day. But that's really about it. Oh, this is This is Mrs. Mechanic's little toolbox. We actually carries everything in here that we need for doing the deck. Yeah, so she's very well organised. And she just chops up, and these are the bolts. We've been using a lot of these bolts. These are old head bolts that I've been saving. Been using a lot of those. They're a weird thread there, an American thread. If we go over here, I can show you what thread they are actually. In my drawer of many bolts. Yeah, there we are. Look. Okay, so that's what they are. 7/16. So I had a lot of those bolts, so I bought a lot of nuts to go with them. Oh God, look at all those nuts and bolts. I don't know how often you guys get to see in here, but there's a side port. There's a lot of what are these? What are these ones? M10 by 75s. I think I bought 2 boxes of those recently. Oh well. Not to worry. Oh, we use so many of these square washers. Unbelievable how many of those. Assorted nuts and bolts. Mainly M12, M10, M8, and M6. And that roll cab, right, because of all the nuts and bolts in it, weighs so much. It's so heavy. I had to reinforce the base where the wheels go on. There's actually a steel frame that I put at the base of the roll cab to bolt the wheels on, because I was concerned it was gonna bend. It's way overweight to what it's supposed to have in it. Way over. How's the pie doing? I'm getting hungry. Oh, time for a cigarette. Okay. Did I hear a knock at the door? Oh no, somebody's hammering next door. That's what they're doing. Okay, turning around, 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. Right, said Fred. Oh, where do we get to? Cold coffee. If you're out of bed, Mrs. Mechanic, I'll have a coffee. Oh, where do we get to? So, for James, my apologies. It's going to be a few weeks before the last engine stand video goes out. I've done nothing more with it, so you'll just have to hang in there. Sorry, mate. I'm as keen as you are to get it finished, right? But I've just got to stay focused. I don't want to run out of days and not have the deck finished, or at least usable. Banana Brooks. I've just watched. Speed is expensive on YouTube. About the Vincent motorcycle narrated by Ewan McGregor. Whoa, is it? Now I'll take the picture on my YouTube phone, because we're using my YouTube phone, my normal phone, for YouTube today, just as an experiment. Right, where are we? Ewan McGregor, right. We'll watch that tonight. Mrs. Mechanic likes that kind of stuff as well, so which is good. So we will watch that tonight. Thank you. YouTube is brilliant. There's so much stuff to watch on YouTube now. It's incredible. Vajanes, it is a YouTube problem. I see the same thing with other YouTube videos, and it's bloody annoying, isn't it? Really annoying. I don't know how to fix it. Once I get to 100,000 subscribers, as I understand it, I then have the ability to communicate with the YouTube team, and they will hopefully be able to help me solve the problem. We're about, what are we on? About 2,000, just over 2,000 subscribers to go. One day we'll get there. So thank you for James, appreciate that. At least I know it's not just me, right? And it used to be fine. This is the annoying thing. For ages, it wasn't a problem, and all of a sudden, it was a problem, and I just don't know what to do. Simon, that big lump of steel I got during the week. Yes, saw it on your seat in the car. Popped past a local workshop, and the first guy told me to go away. Go away, Simon. Then I remembered something. Then I asked, do you get thirsty in here? Do you thirsty and hot in here? Very good idea. Hopefully that worked. Roger Heaps. So watched Funbus video. Why didn't you just drive it into its new home? Okay. So the reason why we couldn't drive it into the new home is the clutch master cylinder has failed on that truck. So you'd have to start it in gear and turn it off, do a shunt into reverse, start it, turn it off. And it's pretty tight under there for a big truck like that. We were, you saw when we were winching, we were getting pretty close to the workshop wall, the corner. Plus Ben wanted to play with his winch, and he likes winching. And we used to do a lot of winch work in the UK with all the recoveries we used to do. And we don't really do a lot of winch work anymore. So we thought, well, you know what? Let's just use his winch. It's fine. We're not in a rush. He enjoyed doing it. It was insightful to see how powerful the winch is on his on his Nissan Patrol, the mechanical winch. We've not used one of those really in anger. And phenomenal piece of kit. Since then, we've actually got, I think, 5 of those winches. I know, Ben seems to be, he just keeps buying them. We've got one to go on the Funbus Mark II, the vehicle that Ben's driving at the moment. But not too sure what he's going to do with the rest of them, to be fair. Anyway, but very good pieces of kit. He does like his winches. And I think the last one he bought was the best condition one. And he was picking up some other parts that he bought off this guy. And he said, you got a winch. He says, yeah, do you want that? And he seemed quite disinterested, and about this winch to the seller. And Ben offered him a couple $100, and he said, okay. So he got one for $200. It was an absolute steal. Otherwise, he wouldn't have bought that one. But he could sell it for a lot more than that. They are worth quite a lot of money, those winches now. And you can't get them in the UK. Don't exist over there for some strange reason. So hopefully, Roger, that explains that one. We wanted to have a play around, right? A bit more controlled as well, and get it in exactly the right place. And we had to get it right up against the retaining wall. And I think if I'd driven it, I'd have either been too short, I'd have hit the retaining wall, and I didn't want to do that. Purple Monkey, do you reckon the 100,000 subs by Christmas? No, not at the rate we're going. We're probably a couple of 100 subs a month at the moment. It's I'm still going through that transition period, right? So, and I understand why it's happening. When I had the Tool Girls on the channel for 2 or 3 years, it was good. We were pumping out the videos, and a lot of people, I think, subscribe to the channel just to see the girls, right? Which is fine. I mean, that was probably one of the reasons. But now there's only me. There's no Tool Girls. Sure, there's Ben and Mr. Mechanic and a bit more interaction going on. Different kind of videos. But there's no Tool Girls at the moment. They might come back in the future. Who knows? It's all down to, what we decide to do. So I think some of those people, that group, that subgroup of subscribers, over time are slowly unsubscribing to the channel because it's not giving them what they were looking for, which is absolutely fine. And the other subscribers that are coming on board now are more in tune with the core mission of the channel, right? Education, fixing things, that kind of stuff, rather than the eye candy. So it's had a bit of a hit on the number of subs coming in each month. But that's okay. That's just the way it is. I can't do anything about it. I also think there's a lot more channels on YouTube now. There's a lot more competition for viewers as well. That's going to have an impact as well. So it is what it is. We will get there. There's no doubt. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll just keep plugging away, making the videos. I quite like the workshop diaries. I know it's not to everybody's taste, but it's a bit more realistic. It's what goes on behind the scenes. It sort of demonstrates the fact that we don't sit on our ass. You know, we are genuinely busy. We're always doing stuff. There's never really any days off, which is fine. You know, I enjoy making stuff and building things, and we've done a lot of building in the last couple of years. You know, I won't go through it all again. You've seen it all, but there's a lot of changes have happened. We've got a lot more infrastructure now, a lot more area, a lot more space, a lot more working areas, which will make a big difference in the future for future projects and stuff. Purple Monkey, soon get one of those shiny plaques. I'm very much looking forward to getting the shiny plaque. I really am. It's going to be icing on the cake. And don't think that I'm going to just suddenly go, oh, I've done it. See you later, lads. I'm off. That's it. That's not the case at all. It's just nice to be recognized for all the effort that's gone into the channel. It's not just me either. Mrs. Mechanic spends a lot of time editing videos now as well. Although I am actually editing a video at the moment. I went to the Mangakino, world famous Mangakino Lake Hop 2025, just down the road, not too far away. Went there last Saturday. Promised Mrs. Mechanic every Saturday's a day off, right? You know, we're not doing deck 7 days a week. We'll have a day off. And all types of vehicles, cars. There were some motorcycles. I think there were some motorcycles. There were trucks. There was boats, all sorts of stuff. So we've never been before. Went down and I decided to do some filming. So I'm putting together a bit of a different kind of video, and it's a video that's turning out to take up a lot of editing time. I spent most of yesterday on it. I was hoping to get it finished yesterday, you know, get it up, edited up in one day, start, finish, job done, get it on the channel, and you guys could have watched it today. That's not going to be the case. There's the way that I'm doing it. You know, when we see a car, and I've picked the cars that I like, right? You know, the ones that I've always, as a kid, been keen on. We'll have a little look around the car that's at the show, but then I've done a bit of research and found some videos, some other video footage that I can put in there of the cars being driven for what they were intended to be driven for. And I give you a bit more background about the car and when it was launched and how many sold and that kind of thing. It's not something which there's a guy called Big Car YouTube channel. Really good videos. A lot of research goes into it. Makes you appreciate how much time the guy spends doing the research and collating the information and the video, the archive footage that he needs for that kind of stuff. But I wanted to share my Saturday off, and I thought, you know, you guys will like the cars that we see and talk about, but I wanted to give the video a bit more depth, a bit more information than what I knew about the car, because I don't know a lot about those cars. Most of them are way before my time, and I've never worked on any of those kind of cars. I just used to fix normal run-of-the-mill domestic stuff. So, you know, I've done like a voiceover and some archive footage after each car or during that segment. I've done 3 or 4 now, and there's probably another 3 or 4 to go. I'm probably about just under halfway through that video from an editing perspective. When it finally goes out, and it will go out in hopefully the next few weeks, because we're bound to have another day where it's chucking down a rain and we can't do anything, or we're waiting for materials or whatever, I'll try and get it finished and get it up on the channel. Once it goes up, please give me some feedback on it. Let me know what you think. It's not really something I'm tempted to go down, because there are other people around that do far, far better jobs than I could ever do on that. It's not really my genre. But be nice to know if you enjoyed it or not. It's just something a bit different, and you get to share my Saturday off with me, you know. So that was probably about 8 hours sat editing on Saturday, yesterday, and it rained all day. That was my day off. That's all right. Where do we get to? I'm sure I've seen them bolts on some sort of shipping packaging. Well, they came from an engine, actually. Did those bolts. John Nuttall, go on, show the rat drawer. Go on, show the rat drawer. Oh, the rat drawer. Okay. Hopefully there won't be any evidence of rats, but we'll have a look. I've just got to make sure there's nothing else in the drawer that you're not allowed to see. Hang on. I think we're okay with that one. Okay, there we go. Look. This was one of the rat drawers. Can you see any evidence of Mr. Ratty? Maybe a mouse. I can't see anything in that one. Let's have a look in this one. That's all my old tools out of one of the toolboxes from England, look. Pretty much. Nothing in there. How about this one? Now you can probably see, if I do that and then bring you over here, you can probably see this side of the drawer, but you can't see the other side. Anything in there? No. Plenty of tyre valves there. And torque wrench drawer and sockets. Maybe, yes, Mousy. Mousy's been in, look, hasn't he? But no Ratty, which is good, actually. And I think, oh, there goes the pie. I think we've managed to eradicate the possum problem. So that's good as well. They're all gone. Right. Pie is ready. Ooh, she's warm. Nice. Good timing. Okay, turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There we go. It's a bit different on this phone, so I'll make sure I press the right buttons. Okay, we'll finish said cigarette, and then by that time the smoke in my eye. God damn it. The pie should have cooled down. So there you go, Banana Brooks. You've seen the rat drawer, and it's rat free at the moment, which is good. Simon, yes, beer worked. Think I'm welcome back now. It's amazing, isn't it? How it's like a untold open the door kind of method. People do like beer, so good call, Simon. Well done. I'll be interested to see what you make out of that great lump of steel. For Giants, thank you, Andy. I enjoyed all of your wonderful videos. I enjoy making them, matey. I do. I really do. It's good fun. It's a hobby to me. It really is. Simon, when I first looked at your channel, it was just the standard bike stuff. Brakes, TPS, never subbed, as I thought I knew that stuff. Then the MR2 vids. Hang on, there's somebody outside. Oh, hang on, she's got a coffee. Bear with me. I'll have to open the big door. There's bikes all down the side port at the moment. Back in a second, hang on. No, big door. Thanks, honey. Oh, coffee and a pie. Can't go wrong. Thanks, honey. Right, where do we get to? Simon. I thought I knew all that stuff. Then the MR2 vid's more me. See, it's more in depth than just that. It is. I mean, there's all sorts. I mean, there's some videos which are really basic. I mean, one of the most popular videos on the channel is how to wire up one of those 12-volt cigarette lighter socket things. It took like 15 minutes to film it. Very, very simple. 2 wires. Turns out to be super popular and very helpful to a lot of people. And then there's the alternator video, you know, again, equally as popular, far more technical. There's, you know, all sorts of different levels of videos. And I just tend to film what comes in. I don't really go, you know, YouTube constantly says to me, hey, Andy, you can grow your channel. Look at what the kind of stuff people are watching at the moment and make one of those videos. And I'm not going down that route in the same way that I'm not going to sell my soul. I mentioned this I think on the last live stream, and fill the videos with sponsorship stuff, you know, a 60-second segment on how good this, I don't know, air freshener is, or VPN connection, or whatever, meals, you know, instant meals that you can buy and things. It's just, it's not what the channel's about. Not at all. Not interested. So, you know, it is what it is. We just crack on and do what we do. And yeah, sure, it's evolved a little bit more into a real life type scenario. You know, I share a lot more stuff with you guys now than I ever did when I first started the channel. Back then it was, you know, just this is Andy Mechanic on YouTube, and here we are fixing a starter motor or taking an engine out or whatever. But now it's, this is my life. This is what we do. You know, so yes, it's evolved a bit. And there, don't forget, there's about 130 videos fixing things, diagnosing things of a particular brand that I'm not allowed to put these videos out onto YouTube until I no longer work for my current employer. But I still make those videos and I still edit them up. They're all edited, they're all done, they're all on the channel, all hidden away. And those will all get released in the future. And if I get another bike come in with a problem and I choose to film it, then that'll be another video that'll, again, go on the channel for future viewing. Is it for a retirement fund? No, it's not. Sure, it'll help the channel. There's no doubt about that. But it's, sometimes you get some pretty quirky faults, which you're never going to see again. And that's the one opportunity to film them. So you're going to film them, right? So I do. So thank you, Simon. I appreciate that. John Nuttall. I, for one, want to see the Postie bike resto. Didn't you get 2? I've only got 1 Postie bike. It's in a shack that Ben built at the moment. It's out of the rain. It's not in a great state. It did run, as you saw in the video, and my original plan was to fix it up. Unfortunately, that bike I can't get road registered. It was originally sold by Honda in New Zealand as a farm bike, and it's not homologated. So the frame number is not on Land Transport, their system, their land data system, they call it. So it's impossible to get it on the road. It doesn't meet compliance. So chances are I'll have to buy another one, maybe a wrecked one, which is road registerable, and then build one out of the 2. I do really would like it. I'd love to have a little Postie bike. And we are planning at some point, there's a scooter ride that they do. Well, there's 2 or 3 around New Zealand each year, every 2 years it is. I'd like to build a bike to do that, and a Postie bike would be applicable to that type of group. It would be accepted to be, you know, go on that trip, because there's limited numbers and you've got to book way in advance and you've got to pay to join, all that kind of thing. So there's one from Invercargill to Queenstown as well, a scooter run, which a Postie bike being 50cc, I believe it is it 50cc or 90? Oh, couldn't do the Invercargill one. They're all 50s. But it could do there is actually a Postie bike run, so I could do that. So yeah, I've only got one. It hasn't changed. It's still sat outside. Probably wants a top-end rebuild now, to be fair. But anyway, we'll get around to it. Lots of projects all lined up for when Andy retires. And hey, who knows? I might retire next year. I might retire in 10 years. We don't know what's going to happen. But what I will tell you is the job that I have now will be my last job. I'm not going to, whenever I decide to leave or I leave, I won't be getting another job. The house is nearly paid for. I reckon we could just about live off a few home jobs and we'll be good to go. Right. I'm getting hungry. The pie. So we've done this one. It seems like I've done a lot of pies in New Zealand now, doesn't it? This is the lamb Sunday roast. So we're going in. Hot. And it was really good last time. When I bought this one, I didn't think I'd done this. I'd forgotten that we'd done it. But we have. Wade Mayer. Morning, Wade. Hope you're all good, matey. Wow, I'm late. Howdy, crew. No worries, Wade. You're all good, matey. Connor K, morning, Andy and crew. I'm 1 hour late due to New Zealand clock change. Clock change in Europe coming soon as well. Hope I didn't get caught out of guard again. Now, a funny story about that, Connor. So, on Friday, in the morning, it's absolutely pissing down the rain. Very windy as well. Not a day to be outside. So I said to Mrs. Mechanic, right, we need to go into Taupo. Let's go this morning while the weather's really bad, and hopefully it'll brighten up a bit for the afternoon. How wrong was I? But anyway, got in the car, set off, looks at the clock. It's only 9 o'clock. But we've done well to get out of the house so early. Mrs. Mechanic looks at her phone. No, my phone says it's 10 o'clock. Your car's wrong. How can it be wrong? It was right, a couple of weeks ago when I was at work. I haven't changed it. What's going on? Oh, maybe the clocks have changed. No, they don't change till late in October sometime. It's nowhere near yet. So she Googled it. The clocks had changed 5 days earlier on the Sunday morning. We had no idea because we just watched Netflix and that kind of. We don't watch normal TV where you get a 6 o'clock news like we used to in England. So we had no idea. We're just getting up, going outside, working on the deck, going inside, putting Netflix or Prime Video or whatever it is, put a movie on, and then going to bed. So for 5 days, we didn't even know the clocks had changed. We're pretty useless as we're getting older, aren't we? Anyway. Simon, my most views is the 40-ton Ram pulling a diesel injector. I would say that would be popular because it's quite an interesting thing to watch and quite unbelievable that the injectors can get so badly stuck in the head. Roger Heaps. Do you want me to get frame numbers off the Trail 90 here so you can check it in the system? That would be brilliant, Roger, if you could do that. Yes, please. And yes, I've got contacts at NZTA that will check it for me to make sure it's in the system. If you just fire it through on a message, and when I'm back at work, because I'll send it from a work email, and that way they know it's me, right? Because if I send them an Andy Mechanic email, I'm like, who's this guy? Funny. Connor K. Interesting that YouTube is telling you how to grow your channel. At the same time, channels with 500,000 subscribers are mysteriously getting subscriptions cancelled in bulk. There's some weird stuff going on in the background, isn't there? And I'll never understand what's happening. I just try to keep in my lane and do my own thing. And it's quite fickle as a YouTube channel. I think we've done very well to, what we are now, 9 years, 10 years. It will be something like, I don't think we're quite 10 years yet, but we're probably well into 9 years. And a lot of YouTube channels come and go, right? Actually, maybe I think of something then. Ed China. Obviously, he was in Wheeler Dealers years ago, and he started his own YouTube channel, and it's a great channel. I mean, it's very different to Wheeler Dealers, but he's a great guy, extremely knowledgeable, and a phenomenally good presenter. And I was watching his videos regularly as they were coming out, and all of a sudden they just stopped, and there's been nothing uploaded for like 5 months. I hope the guy's okay. I've not heard anything. But if any of you guys know anything about Ed China and if he's fallen ill or what, I'd be keen to know, to be honest. And Ed, if you are watching this, and you probably won't, but if you are, you know, hopefully you'll be back on board soon, because we miss you, mate. John Nuttall. But we want to see a bike in that motorcycle lift table, Andy. I know you do. I do have the next project that, for me, is, you remember the Ultimate Farm Bike, the DR200 that we built? Well, it needs a little bit of work, right? Front brake caliper's seized on, so I've taken it off and it's just zip tied to the rack at the moment, so I can push it around. It needs that sorting out, which is a bit weird because we only rebuilt it a few years ago, and all it ever did was the trip. It needs a top end rebuild. There's a problem with the rockers. I want to look at that. It's a known issue with those particular engines. Everything we need, including new valve guides, new valves, new rockers, the works, is all in the drawer over there. Paid for it a couple of years ago. So that's one job that I want to do. We'll give it a rebore, new piston and rings, give it a good freshen up, because that's a great little bike. It did a phenomenal job on that trip. And it was just abused from the minute I started it up at Cape Reinga. On the stop most of the time. It felt really bad on the main roads because I was just flat out. So it needs to be sorted out. So that will definitely go in on the hoist. Probably once the engine stand's finished, I can get that done. And soon, once we get the new shed built, which is will be done at Christmas, because the roof's all done, right? We've just got to put the walls on, make some doors, put another big post in, hinges and stuff for the doors, concrete the floor. We've decided that the bikes that normally live in this workshop are just going to be stored in that shed for now. We're just going to stick as much stuff up there as we can, vehicle wise, the quad bikes and stuff, so that in here, this is just a workshop. It's so I can leave things out. I can have a bike on the stand. It can stay in the middle of the workshop, and I can come straight back in and do some more work on it, which will mean in the summer months, which are not far away, if I'm working from home, I can finish at 5 o'clock, maybe finish at 4:30. If I start early, I can come into the workshop and I can do 2 or 3 hours in the workshop and instantly start filming again. Whereas at the moment, I can only do weekends. There's no point, even if I'm at home, you know, coming outside. By the time I've set the workshop up, it's tea time. It just doesn't work. But that would work. Anyway, that will work. So that's the plan. Come Christmas, more resources, more infrastructure, new shed, get all these bikes out of here and get them stored up there. So I want to keep pushing them in and out every day. That'll give me at least an extra hour's, an extra hour's time in the workshop. Oh, it's not a bad pie, I must admit. It's not bad. I'd still prefer gourmet steak and cheese, but for what it is, it's all right. And it's definitely potato in there, look, all that white stuff. There does seem to be more potato in this one than the last one. Because potatoes cheap, right? So this next week, we've got a big stint coming up now. We've got today, and we're going to be working right through till Friday. So that gives us 6 more days every day. Bang, 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 bang. We should have all the framing done by the end of this week. So all the remaining noggins will go in there. Most of them will be in by tonight. And then we'll finish them off tomorrow. And then Mrs. Mechanic, additional bit of work now, because the back of the house, she scraped all the paint off a couple of years ago in readiness to paint the house, right? Or paint that wall of the house. We need to sand and at least get the timber work sealed up. We've got some really good primer. So 2 or 3 coats of primer on the bottom 4 planks, because we won't be able to get to that once the deck's in place. So we've got to get those sanded and painted before I can do the deck in that, put the top on in that area. And actually, to be fair, even put the frame in. So Mrs. Mechanic might be on that on Monday, as long as the weather's reasonable. We've got all the sanding. I bought all the sanding stuff. We've got all the sandpaper. We've got the little hand sander and stuff. I've even got a massive belt sander down there, but I think that'd be on top of it. Too much for the job, to be fair. And then, so maybe yeah, she'll start that tomorrow, hopefully. So by the end of the week, by Friday night, all the holes dug, all the timber done, and the house painted. Actually, by Friday, so Friday will be a concreting day, hopefully. Day off, Saturday, concrete sets. Sunday, next Sunday, I'll then start putting the deck top on, because it'll take me 3 or 4 days to get all the deck planks put down, because I want to make a neat job of it, and we don't want any gaps. It wants to be nice and tight. I've got to make a couple of clamps that will push the planks up tight together, so there's no gaps. I am still waiting for the screws to turn up. We've ordered 1,500 screws. I think they're 75 mil long, because the deck timber is about 25 mil thick. It's thick timber. It's not the cheap stuff. It's all on the trailer. I've got 350 meters of deck planks, and they're 150 mil wide. I sincerely hope that I've got enough. We've got 4 lengths left from doing the potting shed deck. It's slightly different on one side, but it'll be all right. If we have to use that, we'll use that. We'll use it in areas where you're not going to walk, but it won't look much different. It is the same thickness, same dimensions. It just hasn't got the grooves on one side. It's completely flat. That's all right. So what have I got left now? What are we on now? So the 5th. Go back on the 22nd. Jesus, what's that? So it's 4/14. I've got about 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 2 days is what I've got. It's doable. We're all right. I'll be very happy when it's done. Very, very happy. Hang on a minute. Simon, I'll admit that the thing that stops me doing my own stuff, having to move bikes to get space in the shed to do something, it's a real pain. I remember when I was, used to work in the bike shops, all the mechanics used to turn up and they'd spend the first half an hour probably, moving all the bikes out of the workshop, put them in the yard, and then they'd start work. And it wasn't productive. And then they'd do the same thing again in the evening, another half an hour gone. So that's an hour every day for 3 mechanics. And they weren't particularly quick at it. There'd be a lot of talking and jabbering and somebody be on the phone and stuff. So it was like, okay, I need to come in early. I need to come in half an hour early, 45 minutes early. I'll get all the bikes out. You work till 5:30, you clock off, I'll bring all the bikes in. And that's how we ran it. And the workshop was so much more productive because of it. And it was far more efficient for one person just to bring them all in and take them out, put them out. Because you just focused on it. It's outside normal work time. The phone's not ringing, you're not interrupted. You can get them brought in, 20 bikes, 30 bikes, 40 bikes, whatever it is. You can bring them pretty quick, put them out pretty quick. Plus, there's a bit more order to it as well, because one person's doing it is pretty well coordinated. Whereas you got lots of people doing it, there's just bikes just end up everywhere. Simon, jet wash the timber work and let it dry for a few days. A lot faster than sanding. I'm very concerned. This is a very old house. It's hardwood timber. It's good timber, right? But I think, and you see the way that this house is built, you've got your timber on the outside. There's no insulation, right? So then you've got a gap. And then you've got plasterboard. And I think there's a potential for the water to get past the boards. They're not, they're not fully sealed together. And I think we'll get some water being forced through the gaps, through the joints, and it'll end up causing the plasterboard to be damp, and we'll have soft plasterboard in the house. So I don't want to open that can of worms, Mrs. Mechanic's already used a heat gun, scraped all the paint off. There's only a very patchy little the undercoat bits of paint left. It won't take long to sand, and then it'd be nice and smooth as well. And we haven't really got 3 or 4 days that we can afford to wait. I want to get 2 or 3 coats of primer on it, so that's going to be 1 coat per day probably. So to do that will be a week, right? And we can't delay doing that part of the deck for a whole week. We should really have done it right at the start, right? But we didn't, because I wanted to get the deck done. I wanted to get the timber up and make it look good and feel that we were getting somewhere. Make a start. It's a mental thing. That's why we did the big square bit in the middle first, because look at that, we've done 2/3 of it already. It gives you motivation. Hang on a minute. Roger Heaps, Zoe getting scan on Tuesday to see if Zeke was successful in his quest to become a father. That's a very nice way of putting it. Good job, Roger. Well, let me know. Not that we're going to take a puppy, right? There's no way Mrs. Mechanic would have a dog that big in our house, but we are following along, and fingers crossed. Purple Monkey 1974. Paint the house using compressor and a spray gun for speed. I have considered that. We've got everything here, right? We've got the airlines, we've got the spray gun. There's no reason why we can't do that. Maybe. Problem with spraying is it puts a lot of paint in the air. And we've got neighbours that side and neighbours that side, and it's bad enough when unseal the ROVs, to be fair, but it's a good idea. It might happen. We'll see. John Nuttall, is the Canada trip still happening? John, I had a chat with Mrs. Mechanic last night because we knew somebody on the live stream would ask this question. And it's a very sensitive subject. And it's not one that I'm at liberty to discuss. It's private. Clearly, I'm not in Canada, right? I'm still here in the workshop. The reasons why: family, personal. If you wouldn't mind, at this point in time, maybe in the future, But at this point in time, I can't discuss it. I will say, though, I am highly disappointed that I am not in Canada right now. And that comes from the heart. I was so looking forward, not just to the family celebrations that were going to happen over there, but also to the road trip that we had planned as well. I wanted to go and see a few of you guys over in the States, and we're going to cover a few thousand miles. Never been to the US before, never been to Canada before. And we'd set aside the whole month to do just that. And, well, I'm here building a deck. This was the plan B. It's always good to have a plan B. We've had to pull the pin on the plan B, and we're doing plan B. I will definitely be coming over. Not this year. Maybe we'll try and go for next year. So sorry, John. Wade, I too have spent about 70% of my allotted project time over the past 10 years cleaning a spot to work first. It's actually killed 3 projects, including the Jeep. It's really annoying. It really, really is. When you're limited to space and you've got a lot of stuff, right? When you're limited to space and that space is needed for storage when you're not working on something, and everything has to come back in on an evening, for security. I can't leave all the bikes outside. No way, Jose, would I do that. I mean, it's not a bad village, right? But it only takes one person in the village to go, he's got a lot of motorbikes in the garden. Again, doesn't take long to take one. Don't want that. I've had enough motorcycles stolen over the years. I'm not taking any more of my bikes. And woe betide them if I ever caught somebody stealing a motorcycle. It would not end well. To me, personally, thieves are the scum of the earth. I have no time for them, and I will not tolerate them. Go and get a job. Work hard. Buy the things that you want. Don't steal them. You've got insurance, mate. You're all good. Doesn't work like that. Simon, what about the workshop cat? Kawakatsi. Mrs. Mechanic would love to have a cat, but cats are not loyal, right? I'm a dog guy. Mrs. Mechanic loves dogs as well. It's a common thing for the two of us. So, and I'm allergic to cats, right? You get a cat, all I'll do is sneeze. There'll be snot drooling all over the place during the live streams. I'll be crying my eyes out, sneezing. You don't want that. Jeez, come on now, Simon. John Nuttall, hit the like button. Yes, please do hit the like button. Oh, we're an hour and a half in. Holy crap. John Nuttall, sorry, didn't want to pry. John, it's fine. It's, I set myself up, right? I said to the world, a year ago? This is what's happening. Going to Canada to see my daughter. She's getting married. It's going to be fantastic. We can include in the trip, since we're going, we'll go do this, this, and this. I'd set aside the funds. I'd got the time allocated off work. Saved up my leave. Everything fell into place. Unfortunately, things changed. So that's it. I can't say any more. But John, I totally accept your comment there, your apology. You don't need to apologize. It is what it is. We all have ups and downs in our lives, and we make the most of it. And I'm just focused on building a deck at the moment. And that's what Mrs. Mechanic's doing as well. We're just trying not to think about it. So that's the plan for the next 6 days or so until our next day off, which will be Saturday. What we're going to do on Saturday, well, I'll probably end up editing that video again. Probably. I don't know. Mrs. Mechanic might want to go for a drive out somewhere. It would be nice to escape for a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. We really will. Are there any more videos due to be launched on the channel in the next few days? There isn't at the moment. My apologies. Mrs. Mechanic, I don't think has got any more workshop diaries close to being uploaded. I'll ask her today, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, all her energy at the moment is on the deck. And we're both pretty knackered by the end of the day. There's no way we're going to finish at 7 o'clock at night and then have tea and then go and edit videos. It's just not going to work because we just wouldn't get out of bed the next day. Simon, the guy 2 doors up, got himself a mini lathe. Asked to get him started. More than happy. So showed him the full size lathe, lol. This is your toy lathe. This is my lathe. Good job, mate. Nice. I like that. So that's the plan of attack. That obviously there won't be a live stream next Sunday, but there will be the following Sunday. So I think actually we're about there. I think we've done it. We've hit the hour and a half mark. I was really seriously contemplating just doing an hour's live stream today so I can get on with the deck, but it's been really good talking to you guys. I find it quite therapeutic, to be perfectly honest, especially this current climate, what's going on. So thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed the updates on the deck. You'll see a lot more about the deck build on Mrs. Mechanic's workshop diaries as well. There's, she's doing a bit of filming like nearly every day, so you can see how the whole thing comes together. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not cheap. It's sort of fun seeing it all come together. I am enjoying doing it. I'm making sure I'm enjoying doing it. That's the most important part to me, is the enjoyment factor of the build. Because, it is a holiday. It's not a job. But yeah, it'll be fantastic when it's finished. Okay, crew, if you haven't yet hit the like button. And if you've not yet subscribed, now's a great time to subscribe. Get yourself, you'll be the one more counting towards that 100,000 mark. We're not too far away yet. Roger Heaps, no numbers on the headstock. That's weird. Okay. I'll have to look back at the video to see if it's the headstock where they put them. Normally they do. But with it being a pressed steel frame, it might be around the back mudguard somewhere. Possibly. It might be in a different location. It should have frame numbers, unless something's happened to it. Okay, crew. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Until then, take care. Thanks for joining. Over and out.